Welcome to this yoga practice. It's a yoga practice. It will take about 30 minutes. Will be mostly on the ground. And I recommend that you have as many props nearby as you'd like. Blocks, blankets, pillows can be really helpful to make the practice as rich and as comfortable and nourishing as possible. So I'll meet you in a seat to start with. You can definitely sit on a pillow or on a blanket. You might choose a cross-legged seat. But you could also choose an asymmetrical or other seat, one leg out to the side. That sometimes can feel nice, and you could switch it around in a little bit. You could also sit in any other way that will feel comfortable at this point. Try to get your shoulders more or less over your hips and rest your hands in your lap. And we'll arrive. And to arrive, we'll try to tune and move inward. So closing eyes can be helpful for that. So if that's comfortable for you today, gently let your eyelids drop over your eyeballs. And then use these first minutes of practice just to notice where you're at physically and mentally. And if that sounds like something a bit difficult to grasp, just notice any sensations that are happening in the physical body right now. The contact of your legs, your sit bones against the ground or anything that is supporting you right now. The feeling of the air around you making contact with your skin or your clothing. Maybe notice the sounds that are happening around you. And then move to noticing the sounds that are happening within you. And then if you're noticing the sound within you, the most probably obvious one will be the sound of your breathing. And as you bring your attention to that breath, notice that there is not only sound, but there is movement associated to your breathing. And then notice that you have some amount of agency over the movement and the sound of your breath. And you might begin to explore that. You might make your breath a bit more expansive. You might make the sound of your breath a bit more obvious. If it's available, try breathing a bit more through your nose. And if you haven't already, begin to coordinate your inhales with an expansion through your chest and your rib cage. And as a result, maybe some expansion through the belly. And then coordinate your exhales with the lowering of your chest, drawing in of the ribs, and a gentle drawing in and lifting up of the belly. And remind yourself here that the breath is the basis of your practice, that there is already movement happening as you breathe, and that you can come back to this at any point. We're going to add a little bit more movement to the movement that already happens with the breath. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed. We'll take an inhale to lengthen a little bit more the spine. Think about the crown of the head lifting up. And then on the exhale, we'll lower the chin towards the chest. A stretch through the back of the neck, trying to keep your shoulder blades drawing back and down. And then guide your left ear towards your left shoulder. And now a stretch through the right side of the neck. Allow your right shoulder to drop heavy. And then guide your chin back towards your chest. And then guide the right ear towards the right side or right shoulder. And now left side of the neck gets a stretch. Notice the sensation there. And then guide your chin back to your chest. We'll do it one more time at your own pace. Take it over to the left. And then as you're ready, center and over to the right. And then we'll bring the chin back towards the chest. If your eyes still were closed, gently open them, looking forward, and then guide your right hand behind you. Your left hand can cross over and gently rotate your torso towards the right side. And take a moment here, breathing in and out. And then as you inhale, return the torso through center and take it over to the left, rotating left. Left hand can come behind us, right hand might cross over. Well, keep your spine lengthening tall. And then one more of each, gently going over to the right side. Your arms might swing over. And then back through center and over to the left. On your inhale, return the torso through center, reach your arms out and take them overhead any amount. So palms might touch overhead or they might not. And then as you exhale, take your right arm down by your side and find a side bend towards the right. So think of this as an expansion through the left side torso. Your left arm could be by your ear, you could have it with the elbow bend cactus arms, or your left arm could be all the way down by your side, maybe hand resting on your left hip. As you breathe in, return yourself through center, and you might lift your arms overhead. And on your exhale, take it over towards the left side, finding that side bend on this side. Broaden the right side of the shoulder, the chest. Then take a breath. As you inhale, return the torso through center, interlace your fingers overhead and turn the palms towards the ceiling, giving yourself a stretch here. And feel that the stretch is happening through the fingers, the palms of the hands, the wrists, all the way down through your armpits. And you might even feel a stretch around the rib cage, even the belly and waist. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, release those arms all the way down by your side. And then if you were sitting cross-legged or asymmetrically in any other way, maybe switch. Find the other side. Take a moment to ground again those sit bones. Rest your hands on your thighs and then inhale and bring the shoulders all the way up by your ears. Squeeze them in. And as you exhale, only drop your right shoulder down. See if you can keep your spine lifted. Inhale, right shoulder rises, and then left shoulder down. And inhale, lift, and again, right shoulder. And lift, and left shoulder. As you inhale, both shoulders will lift. You could keep them lifted. Exhale here, and then take another breath in. And as you exhale, both shoulders lower. Take your arms out into a T, inhale. And on your exhale, right arm over left and give yourself a hug. Bend the elbows, hands around your shoulders. Inhale, open again. And then left arm over right and hug this way. And then let's do that one more time each side. Open, right arm over left, that hug. And open, and switch, left arm over right and hug. On your inhale, open, turn your palms to face back, and then see if you can slide the hands behind you, finding the opposite hand, interlacing those fingers, and then sending the knuckles towards the floor as you broaden through your chest. Notice that chest going forward and mainly going up, as if it was trying to lift towards your chin. Take another inhale. And exhale. And then release that, reach your arms wide and up, and we're making our way into all fours. So you might bring the hands in front of you and roll over your feet, or you might send your feet to one side and then come up to all fours this way. So hands and knees, the hands more or less under shoulders, the knees more or less under hips. A little padding for the knees can be really nice here, so feel free to find that blanket. And then from here, we're going to work a little bit with those wrists. So we're going to turn the left fingers towards the left side, the right fingers towards the right side, and then the left fingers any amount towards the left knee, so in, and the right fingers any amount towards the right knee. And then we'll return, fingers out, forward, and then this time fingers facing one another. So in, left fingers towards the right and right fingers towards the left. And let's move like that a few more times. Forward, out to the sides, towards the knee. Again, out to the sides, forward, facing one another. And let's try that one more time. Forward, to the side, in, and to the side, forward, and facing one another. And now see if you can stay here with the fingers facing one another, and we'll just shift a bit from side to side, those shoulders, that torso. Keep the back of the neck long, the crown of the head reaching forward, and that tailbone reaching back. And then return the torso through center. Fingers are pointing forward now. And we'll find some cows and cats. So we're going to find some movement through the spine. As we inhale, the tailbone will lift. The belly will lower. The chest will come forward between the arms. And then as a result, the chin, the gaze could lift too. And then on the exhale, reversing all of that. Chin draws towards the chest. The spine rounds. The tailbone tucks, cat pose. And then find that movement again. Inhale into cow, lifting that tailbone, belly lowers, chest forward, gaze could lift. Exhale, chin tucks, rounding spine, tailbone tucks, push the floor away. A few more, find your own pace. And notice that we're pairing the cows, this extension through the spine with the inhale. And we're pairing the cats, the flexion through the spine with the exhale. And again. And then we'll meet back with a neutral spine. And then from here, tuck your toes and see if you can give the soles of the feet a stretch. So you're going to be pushing into the balls of the feet and then push into your hands as if you were trying to get your sit bones towards your heels. As a result, you might feel that your knees can float up. It's quite intense on those legs. So just notice that. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, return those knees to the mat, the tops of the feet to the mat, and give a tap of the tops of the feet down a few times. And then find stillness through those legs. And with your next inhale, sweep your right arm out to the right and up any amount. But rather than thinking about the arm lifting, think about your rib cage turning towards the right. And take a breath here. And then on your exhale, return right hand down and switch. Do the same with your left. You could even think about your left hand or draw your left hand to your rib cage and help that rib cage turn towards the left. And then once that has turned, maybe your arm releases and reaches up. And take a breath. And then return, left hand down. We'll do it one more time. Right hand can help the rib cage turn towards the right, and then it sweeps up. And then return, right hand plants, left hand helps the rib cage turn left, and it might sweep up. And then gently return, both hands down. We're coming back into those cows and cats as we inhale, cow. On the exhale, cat. And again, inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. One more like that. Inhale. And now on your exhale, find your cat. Walk your hands towards your knees a little closer and then come onto the fingertips, lifting the palms. Now bend all the joints in your fingers so you're really on the fingertips, and then see if you can spread your shoulder blades apart just a little bit more. Tuck off the tailbone, feel that lower belly drawing up and in. Allow the neck to relax and take another breath. And then come back onto your hands. We're going to take a little try into a plank pose. So we're going to walk those hands forward. Your shoulders are still over your wrists, but now notice that your hips have gone forward of your knees. And then we're going to tuck the left toes. We're going to lift that left knee, keeping that right knee down. Pause, take a breath in, push through that left heel, and take a breath out. And then return the left knee. Untuck the toes, tuck the right toes, and then push through the heel, lift that right knee. Try to keep your hips the same position so we're not changing anything else. A big stretch through the back of that right leg, calf especially. And then return right knee down, untuck the toes. We'll do it one more time each side. Push through the left heel, left knee lifts, a squeeze through the left glute, drawing gently in through the lower belly. And then left knee down, top of the foot, tuck your right toes, and same thing here. Push through that right heel. Squeeze through the right glute. Push the foot away with your hands. And then lower that right knee, untuck your toes, and we're coming into a child's pose. So the sit bones are going to move towards the heels. They might get there, they might not. Perfectly fine if they don't. See if you can come onto your forearms. You could even bring the palms together and allow the head to drop towards the floor. So here, this will look differently in different bodies. If you feel that you need a little bit more support, so to bring the floor a bit higher up, that's where your pillows, your blocks, your blankets come into play. So feel free to use them behind your knees, under your chest, under your head. We'll take a couple breaths. And then we're going to come back to that table pose. So with your next inhale, once again, think about hands under shoulders, knees under hips. As you inhale, cow, just like we did earlier. And on your exhale, cat. 2 more. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And last one, breath in. And out. Find that neutral spine and rotating through your torso. So right hand helps the ribs turn right, maybe sweeps up. Push the floor away with your bottom hand, left hand. And then return, right hand down. Same thing with the left. Turning towards the left, maybe arm sweeps up. And one more of each. To the right, breathing in. Lowering, breath out. And to the left, breath in. And lower, breath out. Walk your hands forward. You're coming back into those plank poses. So notice once again, your hips are coming forward of your knees, but your shoulders are still more or less over your wrists. You can do the one leg plank like we did before, pushing the heel away, lifting one knee at a time. Try it on both sides. And then you could do that one more time, or if you're feeling strong here, you could tuck both toes and see about lifting both knees at the same time. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then we'll lower those knees, and we're coming back to that child's pose. Sit bones towards heels. You might here decide to send your knees away from one another. So take them a little wider, keeping your big toes close together. This sometimes also allows a bit more space for the front of the body to come closer to the ground. So if that feels good, go there. And then find that breath. And take one more. And then as you inhale, walk your hands in, lift your spine, and we're making our way into a seat. So you could come to stand on your knees, swing your feet to one side, and then see if you can find the flexion through your hips. As you send your sit bones back, your arms could be forward, counterbalance, and then plant those sit bones and bring the legs in front of you. If coming into a seat a different way is better for you, always welcome to do that. Once you find your seat, your feet are going to go wide, your knees are going to be wide too, and your hands are going to frame your hips. And then we'll take a full breath in, finding that length through the spine. And on the exhale, drop your knees towards the right side. Maybe look left if that feels good. As you inhale, return center. And on your exhale, knees towards the left, and your gaze could go right. And let's do one more of each. Back through center and to the right. And center and to the left. And then as you inhale, bring those legs back through center. Heel to toe your feet in. And we're coming onto our backs. So 2 ways I suggest. There might be others. Again, you're more than welcome to use any other way. First way, knees to the side, come onto your forearm, and then get yourself all the way down, rolling onto your back. Second way, as long as your lower back feels good and your core wants some work, you could lower slowly from your seat, reaching your arms out in front of you, taking a breath in. And then chin to chest, control the weight of your head, and you're slowly going to lower your lower back, your mid back, your upper back, and lastly, your head. Once you get to the ground, maybe a pillow or a folded blanket to lift the head, lengthen the back of the neck might be nice. Back body is well planted, and then let's bring the right knee into the chest. Hands can come around your shin or behind your thigh. Give it a little squeeze. You could do with your ankles some movement here, your toes too. And then gently guide your right knee towards your right armpit. So coming kind of like into a half happy baby. You could stay here. You could switch to one hand. Maybe that right hand is behind your knee and then the foot can lift up towards the ceiling. So option maybe to bring the hand up, but not necessary. And taking a breath. And then we'll cross that right ankle over the left thigh, coming into a reclined figure 4. As you cross the ankle over, think about your right knee moving away from you. There's some external rotation happening in your right hip, and you can stay here. Your hands might rest on the belly. Keep coming back to the breath. And then you can take this figure 4 into a reclined twist. So keeping the figure 4 position, let your knees drop towards, or your legs drop towards the left side. A blanket or a block here might be a good idea, landing on it, or maybe all the way to the floor. Arms could reach out into a T, and we'll take a full breath in, and a full breath out. And then unwind your figure 4, your twist, come back through center. This time maybe both legs come in. Rock a little bit from side to side, front to back. And then plant your right foot, bring your left knee in. Some movement through your left ankle, your toes if you'd like. And then pause that and guide your left knee towards your left armpit, finding any version of a half happy baby that feels right for you. So this one, staying at this point, perfectly good. Maybe one hand, maybe behind that left knee, maybe foot towards the ceiling, maybe hand reaching up towards the foot, but only if it helps the posture. If it helps you make the posture more nourishing, more helpful. And then we'll take this into a figure 4, crossing that left ankle over the right thigh, sending the left knee away from us. And again, maybe coming back to that breath. Hands could rest lower belly, lower rib cage, noticing the inhales and the exhales. And then option to take this into a twist, just like we did on the other side, letting your legs drop towards the right, maybe onto that pillow or blanket. Maybe your left foot plants on the floor, left knee is pointing up, and anything that you'd like to do with your arms. Now we're coming to that part of practice in which is more about release. So if you haven't already, begin to let go of effort, striving, and allow yourself to settle in. As you're ready, release that figure 4. Knees can come back in. If it's helpful, bring the knees in to the chest and give yourself a squeeze. Maybe a rock up and down, lifting and lowering the lower spine. And then lower your feet to the ground. If it's comfortable, extend your legs, reach your arms overhead and give yourself a whole body stretch. Fingers reaching away from toes. Take a full breath in. And on your exhale, pause the reaching and allow the grounding. Maybe open mouth exhale. And try that once again. Use your inhale to reach, toes away from fingers. And then exhale, open mouth and soften, release. We're finding a few moments of stillness. Your arms can come back down by your side. If you're comfortable here with your legs extended, stay. If you'd rather bend those knees or roll onto one side, you could spend these next moments in that position. As we find Shavasana, these moments of stillness, allow the physical body to soften as best you can. Letting go, allowing the ground underneath to support you and hold you. And as the physical body softens and quiets, notice what happens with the mind. And it might soften along, or it might get busy. And can you be the observer of all that is happening without needing to get involved? Just a few minutes here. Nothing else to do right now. And then bring your awareness back to your breath. Maybe make your breath just a little bit more obvious without straining. Notice once again the movement of the breath and the sound. And then with your breath, invite some gentle movement back into the body. your toes, your fingers, your ankles, your wrists, moving in any other way that feels good to you. And then eventually make your way into a seat. No rush, take your time. Yeah, make it a comfortable seat. We'll spend a moment here. You might rest your hands in your lap. You might choose to have your palms facing down or your palms facing up. You might close your eyes. And we'll take these last moments to observe with presence. Observe our breath. Observe our physical body. Observe our mind. Observe our emotional states. And observe them with compassion, with love, with understanding. And now you could choose to keep your hands in your lap or to bring palm to palm at your chest. Notice the contact of fingers. And then right here, we'll take one more moment to acknowledge the practice, to acknowledge ourselves for our practice today, to remember and acknowledge those who have practiced with us, and then to acknowledge all those who have made it possible. And we choose to end practice with a word that speaks to connection, to noticing, to depending on one another. A word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.